बच्चे, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। देखो ध्यान से, क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 क्या कह रहा है? इट सेज एन इंडिविजुअल इज इंडोर्ड विद इनकम ऑफ 142 rupees and it goes ahead and it says that you are given a utility function of the form x2 into x1 plus 1. अब ध्यान से हमें देखना है that this utility function that is given to us, this is a well-defined preference. This is like a Cobb-Douglas utility function, right? So the utility function, this is given to me as x2 into x1 plus 1, which means it is a well-defined utility function. Well-defined utility function. क्योंकि अगर मैं इसको ध्यान से देखूं, this looks very similar to a Cobb-Douglas utility function. And if you notice, बच्चे, you are given that the price of good 1 is 2 rupees and the price of good 2 is given to you as 3 rupees. It is asking you to calculate the utility maximizing bundle. How can we do this? Very simple. We will go ahead and we will find the MRS. We will equate it to the price ratio and we will get the answer. So let us go ahead and find its MRS. MRS can be written as MU1 by MU2. MU1 मतलब क्या? You need to differentiate the utility function with respect to good 1. And MU2 मतलब क्या? You need to go ahead and differentiate the utility function with respect to good 2. When you will go ahead and you will differentiate the utility function with respect to good 1, what will you get? But ध्यान से open this up. This is giving you x2 into x1 plus x2. तो x1 तो सिर्फ यहाँ आ रहा है ना? x1 is only coming here. So when you will differentiate this utility function with respect to x1, तो x2 is a constant. तो x2 हर जगह constant है. So its differentiation will become x2. And when you will differentiate it with respect to x2, so beta x1 is a constant, तो x1 को आप constant hold करोगे. Differentiation of x2 will be 1 into x1. Differentiation of x2 will become 1. So its differentiation will become 1 plus x1. So your MRS will become x2 divided by 1 plus x1. What is your price ratio? MRS को हम equate करते हैं P1 by P2 से. Price of good 1 is given to us as 2. Price of good 2 is given to us as 3. So when I will go ahead and I will solve this equation, what will I get? I will get x2 divided by 1 plus x1 is equal to 2 by 3. Beta cross multiply karo. Just cross multiply. You will get 3x2 is equal to 2 plus 2x1. Right? Achha. Now tell me, beta, how will you write the budget line? How will you write budget line? Budget line का क्या equation होता है? It is P1x1 plus P2x2 is equal to income of the consumer. Beta, P1 is given to you as 2x1. P2 is given to you as 3x2. Income कितना दिया हुआ है consumer का? The income of consumer is given to you as 142. So is equal to 142. Beta, इस equation से when you have equated MRS to the price ratio, you have got that 3x2 is equal to 2 plus 2x1. तो यहाँ पर 3x2 की जगह पर can I just write 2 plus 2x1? I can write that. So I will write 2x1 and instead of 3x2, I will just put this value. So I will get 2 plus 2x1 is equal to 142. Better this will go here. So 2x1 plus 2x1, this will go ahead and this will become 4x1 is equal to 140. So better x1 will be what? 140 divided by 4, 70 divided by 2, 35. बेटा x2 का वैल्यू यहां से निकल सकता है इस इक्वेशन से. I have found out that x1 is 35. Just put this 35. So you will get 3x2 is equal to 2 plus 2 into 35. तो बेटा 3x2 is equal to 72. तो बेटा x2 will be 72 divided by 3. This will give you 3 2s are 6, 3 4s are 12, 24. So what is your equilibrium bundle? क्या आ रहा है equilibrium bundle from this one? You are getting that your equilibrium bundle will be 35, 24. So the correct answer to this question will be C, 35, 24. This is the answer to this question. Right, beta? Okay, beta. Come to the next question. But in this question, the answer sheet says marks to all. Answer की बोलता है marks to all. Right? But there is a problem. I think there is a correct answer in this case. Question पढ़ते हैं. It says that the International Monetary Fund began its operation in. Now, if you go ahead and you look into the data, you will find that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, but it was established in the year 1944. 1944 में ये established हुआ. And it began its operation in 1947. 1947 is one of the options. 1947 is given in the options. So if you are asking when it began its operation was started in 1947. तो उस हिसाब से तो ये correct है. But if you are asking when it was established in 1944, which is not in the option. वो option में नहीं है. So if operation is asked, तो actually B is the right answer. कोई गलत नहीं है उसमें. B is the correct answer. But the answer key is saying marks to all. So we will ठीक है. We will assume marks to all. सबको marks मिले हैं. Good enough. Okay, beta. Come to the next question. According to the working group of money supply, analytics and methodology of compilation constituted by Reserve Bank of India, which one of the following is not a component of new monetary aggregates, NM1? इसको थोड़ा सा हम समझते हैं. Try to understand this, beta. See, earlier we had the monetary aggregates. जो हमारे पुराने monetary aggregates होते थे, those monetary aggregates were called M0, M1, M2 and M3, M4 also. These are our old monetary aggregates. The old monetary aggregates are before this working group. इस working group से पहले जो हमारा ये working group बना, इससे पहले जो हमारे monetary aggregates थे, they were M1, M2, M3 and M4. Here बच्चे M0 was called as the monetary base. M1 narrow था, most narrow form of money. M4 most broad form of money. Narrow, broad. अब क्या हुआ? In 1998, we had a working group, working committee. And in this working committee, we formed new monetary aggregates. हमने नए monetary aggregates को formulate किया. These new monetary aggregates were called NM1, NM2, NM3. So this N itself stands for new. इसमें भी we had a similar concept. We had the concept of reserve money. Reserve money means base. Reserve money means money in circulation plus the bank deposits. And then we had these concepts of NM1, NM2 and NM3. अब NM1 क्या था? NM1 was the most narrow form of money. Narrow form of money. NM1 was called as the most narrow form of money. Right, beta? अच्छा, अब इस NM1 में क्या आता था? What came in NM1? So currency in circulation with public. जो भी currency बाहर है, whatever currency is there in circulation with the public, वो आता था. Demand deposit with the bank. And bankers deposit with RBI. But a banker किस form में deposit करेगा RBI के पास? So if I have a bank, then bank will deposit money with RBI in the form of cash reserve ratio. Right? Bank will deposit money with RBI The CRR's cash reserve ratio, so that comes here in bankers deposit with RBI. जो भी पैसा बैंक RBI के पास deposit करता है. So NM1, which is the most narrow form of money, it included currency in circulation with public. It includes demand deposit. Demand deposit, as the word suggests, those deposits which can be taken back from the bank on demand. मतलब मैं आज जाके बोलूं मेरे को ये पैसा वापस दे दो, मेरा डिपॉजिट निकाल के वापस दो, तो बैंक को देना पड़ेगा. Bank will have to give back your deposit on your demand. So demand deposit and bankers deposit with RBI. This became NM1. NM2 beta is all components of NM1, but it also includes short-term deposits of the residents. And NM3 is everything in NM2, but long-term deposits of the resident and long-term funding from the financial institutions. Clear ho gayi ye baat ekdam? Now the question is going ahead and it is asking you which is not a component of your new monetary aggregates. Not a component, right? So currency with public, it is a component, right? So we will go ahead and I will take this. Demand deposit with banking system, it is a component of NM1. This is also a component. Short-term time deposit, this is not a component. But a time मतलब मैं कुछ समय के लिए deposit कर रही हूँ. If I am depositing money for some time period, then it is not liquid. वो तो illiquid हो गया ना कि 6 महीने के लिए पैसा मैंने वहां रख दिया. I cannot use that for 6 months. That has become illiquid money. So this is not the most liquid form. और NM1 में most liquid form of money आता है. This only includes most liquid form of money. वो पैसा which is equivalent to cash, the money which is equivalent to cash, जो आराम से कैश के बराबर है, that is called as your most liquid form of money. So that means that beta it does not include time deposits. So this is the right answer. Time deposits are not a part of NM1. Clear हुआ बात? Okay beta, let's come to the next question. Stagflation is a situation when. So what is stagflation? Beta stagflation can be written in two parts. कैसे divide कर सकते हैं इसे हम? Stagnation plus inflation. Right beta? What is inflation? Inflation क्या है? Inflation means increasing prices. But what is stagnation? Stagnation means output not increasing. Employment not increasing. Unemployment increasing. ये हो गया stagnation. So you have these stagnation features and you also have increasing prices. जब ये दो चीजें combine हो जाती हैं, when these two things combine, stagnation. So what will be the answer to this question? Let's look into the question now. So this says, what is a stagflation? So stagflation means you should have high unemployment, high prices. So the correct answer to this question will be B. Unemployment is high and prices are also high. Right, beta? Okay, beta, come to the next question. This says, consider the Keynesian consumption function. What is the Keynes consumption function? C is equal to alpha plus beta y. Beta, it clearly tells you alpha is constant and beta is MPC and beta is between 0 and 1. क्या बोल रहा है question? Find out average propensity to consume. बहुत simple है. What is APC? APC can be said as consumption divided by output. What is consumption? Beta, consumption is alpha plus beta y divided by output. क्या हो जाएगा? Alpha by output plus beta y by output. Beta, this will give you alpha by output plus beta. From here, I can, अच्छा पहले हम आंसर मार्क कर लेते हैं. तो this will be alpha by y plus beta. But from here, we can go ahead and we can also derive one more important result. क्या मिला हमें? We got average propensity to consume is equal to alpha by y plus beta. But what was beta? Beta was marginal propensity to consume. So can I write this as alpha by y plus marginal propensity to consume? Beta, alpha positive है, alpha is positive, output is also positive. तो ये हमारा कोई एक positive number रहा होगा. This would be positive. So I can say APC is MPC plus something. When you add something to MPC, जब आप MPC में कुछ नंबर को add करते हो, then you get APC. Good afternoon everyone, beta. Then you get APC. When you add something to MPC, then you get APC. तो यहीं से हमारा एक और रिजल्ट आ गया that APC is more than MPC. जब हमने MPC में कुछ ऐड किया तब APC मिला, तो APC तो MPC से ज्यादा हो गया ना. So this is another result and therefore we can go ahead and we can say that the correct answer, अगर कभी कुछ एग्जाम में पूछे the result, so you can always say that in Keynes consumption function, APC will be more than MPC. Another important result. Clear हुई बात? Okay beta, come to the next question. An analyst regressed y on x1 and x2. कर लेते हैं regression perform. So y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2. Okay. She later noticed x1 is equal to 5x2. तो क्या notice किया उसने? x1 is 5 times x2. तो बेटा ये तो clear example of multicollinearity हो गया. Perfect multicollinearity है कि नहीं? Because you are able to derive a relation between x1 and x2, a fixed relation that x1 is 5 times x2. आपने एक fixed relation बता दिया है कि x1 जो है ना वो 5 times of x2 है. तो ये तो perfect multicollinearity हो गई. There is a perfect relationship between them. Suppose this would have been x1 is equal to 5x2 plus some error term. Now this is multicollinearity but imperfect. Because now I don't know what this error term can be. x1 जो है 5x2 से थोड़ा ऊपर भी हो सकता है. It can be a bit more. थोड़ा नीचे भी हो सकता है. It can be a bit less. So x1 will be around 5x2, but a little more or little less. थोड़ा ध्यान से समझो बच्चे. When I tell you x1 is equal to 5 times x2 and I want to plot this, अगर मैं इसको plot करती हूँ, what will I get? When x2 is 1, x1 will be 5. When x2 is 2, x2 will be 10. So this is a direct relation. This is a direct relation. So this is perfect multicollinearity. Perfect multicollinearity. अब मैंने बोला x1 is 5x2 plus some term. I don't know what this term is. कभी positive होगा, कभी negative होगा. It will be some term. माने it will be not exactly when x2 is 5, 1, x1 5 नहीं होगा. 5 से ऊपर भी हो सकता है, नीचे भी हो सकता है. Are you getting it? When x2 will be 1, x1 will not be 5. It can be 4.9 also. It can be 5.1 also. We don't know what this error term is. So it will be around 5, but we don't know the exact value. This is imperfect multicollinearity. Imperfect multicollinearity. Right, बेटा? अच्छा, अब एक और चीज हमें इसमें थोड़ा समझना है, right? Try to understand that. Let me just go back to this question for a while. You are right that in long run, APC and MPC will become equal to each other. Correct, beta. That's the correct answer. APC and MPC will become equal to each other in the long run. Correct. Okay. Now, just come back to this question. अच्छा, अब ध्यान से इसमें हमें समझना है बेटा, if x1 is 5x2, मतलब there is perfect multicollinearity. Let us just go back to this regression equation once. एक बारी हम इस regression equation पे दोबारा चलते हैं. What can I do? Instead of x2, can I write down x1 divided by 5? I can. So what will I do? I will say y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x1 divided by 5. But let me just try to rewrite this thing down. So I will get this as beta naught plus x1 common low, beta 1 plus beta 2 by 5. Suppose I tell you this is some number. Suppose इसको मैंने alpha ले लिया. So I can write this as beta naught plus x1 into alpha. What does this mean? It means that I had started with a 3-variable regression model. मैंने 3 variables के साथ अपना regression model शुरू किया था. Y, x1 and x2. 2 independent variable थे, 1 dependent variable. Y was dependent on x1 and x2. But just by simplifying this model a bit, इसको मैंने थोड़ा सा simplify किया and I converted it into a 2-variable regression model. 2-variable regression. Beta, this is the problem with multicollinearity. आप शुरू एक बड़े मॉडल के साथ करते हो. You start with a bigger model, but you end with a smaller model. Now, if you apply OLS, अगर मैंने OLS लगाया, I will be able to only estimate beta naught and alpha. उससे क्या मैं वापस beta 1, beta 2 का वैल्यू निकाल पाऊंगी? No. I will not be able to come back to the original beta naught and beta 1 and beta 2. I will only be able to estimate this alpha. समझ रहे हो मेरा point? So in perfect multicollinearity, you are not able to get back the original coefficients. आपको अपने पुराने original coefficient नहीं मिल पाते. You cannot find them back. All you can find is this new coefficient. Because now it is only a simple regression model. अब ये सिर्फ एक 2-variable regression model बन के रह गया है. It's only a simple regression model to work with. Am I clear? I will just repeat it once. देखो ध्यान से बेटा. We are starting with y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 model. But हमें given है, we are given that x1 is 5 times x2. From here I got that x2 will be x1 divided by 5. If I plug this value of x2 here, अगर मैं इस वैल्यू को यहां प्लग इन कर देती हूं, I will get y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x1 divided by 5. If I take x1 common, यहां से अगर हम x1 common ले लेंगे, I will get this. I can just write this as some alpha. और जैसे ही मैं इसको alpha लिखूंगी, the moment I will write this as alpha, I can only estimate this alpha. मैं सिर्फ इसका वैल्यू निकाल पाऊंगी. I will not be able to find the original betas. मैं इनकी वैल्यू नहीं रिवाइव कर पाऊंगी. That's the problem with perfect multicollinearity. That is why this assumption is very important. ठीक है? So what is being violated, बेटा? कौन सी assumption यहाँ violate हो रही है? That we should not have perfect multicollinearity, but यहाँ पे perfect multicollinearity हो रही है, right? Okay, बेटा. Now, then how will we find variance inflationary? ना, बेटा. Variance inflationary factor only plays a role when there is imperfect multicollinearity. Perfect multicollinearity, you cannot run the model. अगर आप गुजराती के शुरुआत में पढ़ो, इकोनोमेट्रिक्स ने क्लियरली सजेस्टेड है that everything in multicollinearity can be done only in imperfect multicollinearity case. Nothing can be done in perfect multicollinearity. Perfect multicollinearity को तो वही रोक दो, उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते. You can't run the model anymore, right? Okay, let's go to the next question now. Which of the following is not an example of non-tariff barrier? इसको थोड़ा सा समझते हैं. Let's try to understand this thing. Our barriers can be divided in two parts. One is called as tariff barrier and one is called as non-tariff barriers. But for students who have enrolled in our course, I have put a special assignment in international economics only on tariff versus non-tariff barriers. Please वो assignment सब कर लेंगे. Please do that assignment. It will be important from GATE exam point of view. ठीक है बेटा? Okay, coming back to the question. So there are two type of barriers. एक को बोलते हैं हम tariff barriers and other are called as non-tariff barriers. Tariff barrier, as the name suggests, वो barriers हैं जिसमें taxation involved हो. Price में हम कुछ करें, price inflate कर दें good का. For example, you are getting a good from US to India. आप US से India में good import कर रहे हो. This good is worth 100 rupees. Now the government puts a tax of 10 rupees on this good so that it becomes expensive. ताकि वो महंगा हो जाए. And people buy only domestic goods. लोग सिर्फ वो goods खरीदें जो इंडिया के अंदर produce होते हैं. That is a tariff barrier. So a tariff barrier is when you are putting tax. जब आप पैसे को inflate करते हो, जब आप एक good के price को increase कर देते हो. When you increase the price of the good, that is called as a tariff barrier. उसको हम tariff barrier बोलते हैं. A non-tariff barrier, it is also used to reduce import. इसका काम imports को कम करना ही है. But tax मत लगाओ. कुछ भी और करो जिससे imports घट जाए. So we want to reduce the imports. काम हमारा है कि हम imports को कम करें, but हम टैक्स नहीं लगाना चाहते. We don't want to put any tax on it. हम किसी और तरीके से imports को कम करेंगे. We want to reduce the imports by some other technique. Now, what are non-tariff barrier examples? The first example is quota. You are fixing that you can only import this much. जैसे हमने फिक्स कर दिया कि देखो जी, यूएस से जितनी मशीन्स आएंगी ना, वो 400 क्रॉस नहीं कर सकती. 400 मशीन से ऊपर हम इंपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे. We won't import more than 400 machines from US. That is putting a quota. We are fixing the number of imports. कोई टैक्स नहीं लगाया. No tax has been imposed. We are just fixing the number. That is a quota. Better look into the next one. Voluntary export restraints. This is called as VER. ध्यान से समझो. Voluntary means what? खुद से करना कोई चीज. Export restraint means what? Exports को रोकना. So for example, there is a country A, there is a country B. What country A is doing? Country A is selling its goods to country B. ये export कर रहा है country B में. Country B is very tired of it. Country B अपने goods तो बेच नहीं पा रहा है. It's not able to sell its good. All it is getting is goods from country A. Country B has a lot of problem. अब country B A के पास जाता है और बोलता है, look, either you restrict your export yourself, or I will put some impositions on your export. या तो मैं आपके गुड्स रुकवा दूंगा या आप खुद से देख लो और रोक दो. Right? When this country will put a restraint itself, when it will say, okay, let me reduce the export myself, that is called as voluntary export restraint. Read it out, beta. Exporting country, जो country export कर रही है, the country that is exporting, voluntarily limits its export. It is stopping its export voluntarily to avoid imposition of stringent measures, ताकि कोई दूसरी कंट्री उसको कोई भी एक stringent, एक strict measure ना ले. That is called as voluntary export restriction. So what is voluntary export restriction doing? It is putting voluntarily, it is saying, okay, I will restrict my exports, but you don't put any imposition on me. तुम मेरे ऊपर कोई strict imposition मत लगाओ. That is VER. Look into the third one, beta. This is import license. In this case, what the government is doing, अब government A है, government B. There is a lot of import happening from B to A. अब government of country A is tired of it. Government कहती है कि बहुत हो गया, बहुत import हो रहे हैं. My domestic producers are suffering. What will government A do? It will put a license system. It will say, look, first you will purchase a license from me, and only if you have a license, then you can import from this country. And it will put a limit on the number of license. तो कंट्री ए की गवर्नमेंट ने क्या कहा? उसने बोला मैं लाइसेंसेस पे एक लिमिट लगा रहा हूं. दिस इज द मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ इंपोर्टिंग लाइसेंस. और जितने लाइसेंस इशू करूंगा, वॉट एवर लाइसेंस आई विल इशू, ओनली दैट मच इंपोर्ट्स विल टेक प्लेस. It is not putting any tax. It's a non-tariff barrier. It is just putting license system in place. Beta next. Domestic support and subsidies to domestic producer. Now what this country is doing? Government of country is saying, let me support my infant industries. What is an infant industry? Who is an infant? A newly born baby. तो इन्फेंट इंडस्ट्री क्या है? जो इंडस्ट्री अभी अभी पैदा हुई है, जो अभी अभी शुरू हुई है. यू वांट टू प्रोटेक्ट दैट इंडस्ट्री फ्रॉम कंपटीशन ऑफ अदर कंट्रीज. बाकी कंट्रीज के इंपोर्ट से उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना है. हाउ विल यू प्रोटेक्ट इट? बाय गिविंग इट सब्सिडीज, बाय ओपनिंग व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन. SEZs खोल लो, स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स खोल लो. So this is beta subsidies and domestic support. You are providing subsidies to your domestic producer so that they are protected against competition. Next देखो, technical barriers to trade. ये especially US बहुत करते हैं. What will US say? Look, India is not producing a good quality product. India is not taking care of the health measures. India is giving us bad quality food. It is not taking care of this condition when producing. इससे import नहीं करेंगे, right? So developed countries do this with developing countries. वो क्या बोलते थे कि इनका health standard maintained नहीं है. They are not maintaining health standard. We will not purchase from them. Are they putting any tax? No. Still, there is a barrier to it. Efficiency controls. What are efficiency controls saying, beta? Restriction on exchange or conversion of currency. अब ध्यान से समझो. This is country A. This is country B. If you want to import from country B, तो आपको उसकी करेंसी चाहिए होगी ना पे करने के लिए. You have to pay that country in its currency. अगर आप उसको पे करोगे उसकी करेंसी में, उसके अगेंस्ट ही तो आप उससे गुड ले पाओगे. But what if the government stops this currency conversion? गवर्नमेंट बोल देती है हम नहीं दे रहे ये करेंसी, वी आर नॉट गिविंग यू दिस करेंसी, there will be no imports that will take place because there is no conversion of the currency taking place. That is called as your restriction. You are restricting the currency conversions. Better come to the next one. Local content requirement. What is local content requirement saying? It is saying that a specific percentage should be produced domestically. जैसे हम अगर इंडिया में बोलते हैं that we want 80% of the steel should be produced within India. Government ने ये एक law लगा दिया that this much percentage has to be consumed from Indian production. That is called as local content requirement. ठीक है. Last is your import deposit. Now what we are saying? We are saying अगर आपको import करना है तो आपको एक advance deposit करवाना पड़ेगा. You need to make some advance deposit, only then you can import. That is called as import deposit. So all these beta are your non-tariff barriers. Quota, voluntary export restrictions, import licenses, subsidies and domestic support, technical barriers to trade, efficiency control, content requirement and import deposit. ये सारे के सारे आपके restrictions हैं. But these are all non-tariff restriction. Clear हुई बात? So what will be the answer to this question? Let's go back. Which of the following is not an example of non-tariff barrier? VER तो है, हमने अभी अभी देखा. A procurement law directing government to buy domestically made products. यहाँ पे भी आप restrict कर रहे हो कि domestical products ही खरीदो, right? So this is also there. Imposition of sanitary measure, ये मैंने आपको बताया यहाँ पे कि health के नाम पे बोल देते हैं that no import will take place. This is also a barrier. Anti-dumping law, this is not a barrier. The correct answer is D. Acha. Now let's understand what is dumping. What is dumping, beta? क्या होता है dumping? Imagine this is country A. This is country B. Country A is producing a car at 5 lakhs. Country B has a technology जिससे it can produce a car at very cheap prices. What will it do? It will just put all the cars in market of country A. यहाँ पर इस country B में बहुत सारे producers हैं. They are competing with each other. But country A में बहुत सारे producers नहीं हैं. There is not much production taking place. So easily this producer can go to country A and it can start selling this product at a very cheap price. बहुत सस्ते में इस product को dump कर दिया, सस्ते में वहां पे डाल दिया सारा. That is called as dumping. You have competition in your market. आपकी country में तो competition है, but you want to become a monopolist in the other market by selling the product very cheaply. बहुत सस्ते में बेच के आप यहाँ पे पूरी अपनी monopoly create कर लो. That is dumping. Anti-dumping law means that law which avoids this dumping. जो law is dumping के against रहता है. That is called as anti-dumping law. So the correct answer to this question will be D. This is not an example of non-tariff barrier. This is a different concept altogether. ये एकदम अलग concept है, right? Okay.